Hi guys, Signe here. I'm continuing on this week with my little series of love letters that I'm sending out to all my art fair friends that we're not getting to see face to face. This person's a little bit different today because it's somebody that I actually get to see every day face to face. So not just someone that I know from the art fair circuit, but also a friend from here in Greenville, and who's a studio mate currently and somebody I get to see every day. So part of why I've been wanting to do this series is that I think our experience of people's art is so enriched by understanding a little bit about them and about who they are as people. And even though I've known Rey for years and years, I think we've probably known each other for 15 years, 17 years, something like that now. I have gotten to know him really, really well in this last 6 months, and especially over the last 2 months since we've been basically, in pandemic lockdown together here in the studio. If you want to see more about our studio, also you can check that out at Oye Studios. There's a link in our Instagram bio. But I looked up Rey's a little bit of information about Rey on his website this morning because I do know his story, but I didn't want to get any of the specifics wrong. I really would encourage you to go and take a look at his story there because it is quite well told, I think, on his website. But it says at the very top of the page, "I didn't move from Cuba, I escaped." And then farther down it says, "He set out for the United States in a rustic boat he built himself from found or traded materials." And I think you get pretty much the sense of him from that line. That is Rey in a nutshell. He's a very powerful personality. He's a very can-do person. And I think that where he comes from absolutely shows in his work. It's been really interesting being here with Rey within this building and being with someone who has this really indefatigable spirit about himself. So Rey is kind of like the Energizer Bunny, right? Like all power, all go, all the time. We actually invested in this building together with he and his lovely wife Patricia, and we would come in and in a day he would have like torn down a wall and built a new wall. So he's kind of like a force of nature. So I think all of those things about Rey are available to see right on the surface. And what I would like to tell you about Rey is something that I'm learning as I get to know him more, that I think maybe not everybody would know or not everybody would get right away. And I don't know if he'll like for me to tell this about him or not, and I don't really care. But what I would like to say about Rey is that underneath all of that like energy and power, which he absolutely has, Rey is also an incredibly like thoughtful and kind person. And I see that in him every single day, being here as his partner and his studio mate. And I'll give you a couple of examples. I think I like to complain. I'm a pretty good complainer. And one of the first days we were here in the studio together and I had moved into my space, I complained about the temperature in my room. And now I think Rey comes up into my room 2 to 3 times every day to check and make sure I'm comfortable and to make sure that the air conditioning is working properly. And he's had the air conditioning people out like 3 times because he wants to be sure that I'm absolutely comfortable. And Rey does things like that all of the time. Like when we all sit around the table and eat tacos, Rey is the one that makes sure that like everybody's got the right salsa and has tried all the salsas and got everything they needed and had enough food to eat. So not only this incredible, powerful powerhouse of a person, which I don't know that I've ever seen anyone more productive in the studio. The work comes from there, like from like an artistic machine that exists within him, but also incredibly kind and generous and sensitive. So that's the secret that I would like to tell about Rey. If you want to go and take a look at his work, which you absolutely should, his website tells about him in a way that's really interesting to read, ReyAlfonsoStudio.com or Instagram at ReyAlfonsoStudio. And I love you, Rey.